Hi everyone, it's Nicole and I'm here with another layout. This is a picture of me and Josh when we had finished climbing Mount Washington last summer. I'm going to cut it down to about 4 by 4 and I'm going to start the layout. Now, this page here I did with my friend Monique from work. We started saying, oh, we should get together and, scrapbook. And then we start looking at our calendars because she's the other person at work that does all days, and I'm the other one that does all days. So when we start looking at our calendar, we can only get together once a month. So one day a month, we have the same day off, and that was on February 15th. So she came to my house. It was about, I don't know, 9-ish, and she still stayed till about 2-ish. And we chatted for about an hour before we started, and then we scrapbooked for a few hours, and then we had lunch, and then we scrapbooked again. And our next date is on March 15th, so I can't wait. And again, I'm just using scraps. So I went into my basket and just pulled a whole bunch of scraps, and I'm going to use it for this layout. So I just went through that stack and just found papers that coordinated together. And when you end up with a bunch of scraps from previous layouts that you did, it's super easy to find embellishments and pattern papers that really coordinate. So I found everything that was sort of like that aqua, and then I found that pattern paper that had some aqua, some navy, and some yellow on it as a third color that just kind of as an accent color. And I'm going to use that as the base of my pattern papers. And I love to play with scraps. Today is February 27th, I believe. Yes, and I'm doing this voiceover, but this page was done on February 15th. And this morning I started working on a page, and I just kind of went into my stash and grabbing all, new pattern papers and embellishments and that kind of stuff. And I can tell you the struggle is real. I so prefer working with the kit and not having to grab things from my stash, because one, it always works out. It always works out when you have either a kit that have either it's a bottom kit or a kit that you put together, and you start pulling the embellishments out. It always works. It somehow comes together, and we don't need to stress ourselves out with, does everything coordinate properly, or it works. And when you end up with an X amount of pattern papers, then you have the choice. And when you look at all the pattern papers that I have for today's layout that I'm doing, I kept them all in the size pretty much that they were in. So the diagonal navy blue was about 6 inches by 12. I kept that. And then the other pattern paper was about, I'd say, 6 by maybe 5 by 6, and I kept that size. The only two that I cut out was the pattern paper that I mounted the photo with. It was a light aqua, and then the other aqua with all the lines throughout. And I don't know what the manufacturer is on these pattern papers, because a lot of them was just, like I said, scraps. And I just cut it out, the zigzag ones that's kind of white all over. I cut it maybe 7 inches, so 4.5 by 7 inches. I just cut a piece off the end, and now I'm just going to add these pieces all together. I'm just going to ink the edges with a dark navy with my distress ink. And now I'm going to be ready to put this page together. If you see my hands going, like, I talk with my hands. So of course I had my friend Monique there, so we were chatting. We got a lot of chatting going on, and so my hand goes off once in a while there. And So it did some good. I did 2 pages that day that she came over, but it did more than that. It totally brought my mojo back, and that's what we were hoping for. She hadn't scrapbooked in forever either, and I hope that she's scrapbooked a lot since, also for her, because it totally brought my mojo back. I did 2 pages that day, and since then I've done 8. So I've done 10 pages since the 15th, and we're the 27th today. That's awesome. So I got tons of pages to upload to YouTube. I just released a DIY video yesterday, on Saturday. I guess it was on Saturday. I already have my next one done, which I'm going to release this coming Friday. Like I said, I'm going to do at least 2 a month, and if I can do more, I certainly will. But DIY videos take a bit longer to put together than regular scrapbook pages. This page took me between 45 minutes and an hour, and the DIY, I put about 3 hours on this last one. And so now I got to edit all that, but they're totally worth it. It was so fun, and I just love the outcome of what I did. So that's going to be coming up this Friday, which will be March 3rd. Now that I have all the pattern papers all together, I'm just going to glue everything down, and then I'm going to start bringing in those embellishments that I am going to pull from that basket that I've been throwing embellishments in there for quite a bit, apparently, or maybe I just threw them in there when I was packing. I'm not quite sure, but I opened up a box and I found this basket full of just bits and pieces of embellishments and bits and pieces of pattern papers. And I've put, I'd say, 6 pages together from this, and I can probably, and I did some, I did some of my DIYs with the pattern papers that were in that basket, and I can probably still do another probably 4 or 5 layouts with everything that's in that basket. And if I wasn't going to this basket, these things would just stay in there, and I probably wouldn't be using them, and then to the point that I would probably lose interest, and then I would be like, how long has it been since I looked into that basket? It's probably not stuff that I even like anymore, and I'd probably put it in a box and give it away. But I've been finding a bunch of treasures into that basket, and you can see here I'm just kind of throwing everything out, and I'm not thinking of the subject of the layout or the message I want to send through. I'm just picking out stuff that coordinate. So anything that is aqua or teal, and then because of that yellow, I'm trying to find a little bit of gold. So, and that's usually how I put my embellishment clusters together. Even if I have a brand new kit, when I pull my pages, I pull pages without any pictures in mind. I pull pages with color in mind, and then once I have my page kits together, then I pull in my pictures, and I always find pictures that will coordinate, because as scrapbookers, how many pictures do we take? A ton, right? And so there's always going to be pictures that we're going to find. One thing that me and Monique talked about that day, and it is so true, I lost my mojo for scrapbooking, but it did more than that. I lost my mojo in even taking pictures, and it breaks my heart, because in the last year, when I should have been taking the most pictures ever, because we were, building a new house and all that, and moving into our new house, it's probably the time in my life where I've taken the least amount of pictures. Even this past Christmas, usually every year we take pictures of the kids in front of the Christmas tree, and all the kids together and we have a progression. We didn't do it this year. First year in this, new house, and we didn't do that. I took pictures of them opening gifts, but my brain was somewhere else and I just forgot about it. So this year, anyway, I went on this rabbit trail here, but just to show that when you lose your mojo, it's not just for, scrapbooking. It can affect even taking pictures, which I'm kind of sad, but the year is still, we're only February, so I got plenty of time to take tons of pictures. So I'm going to start leaving my my camera out in the kitchen if I have to, and to remember to take tons of pictures. So now I'm just going to start making embellishment clusters with the embellishments that I took. So I had this sticker, and that's from Chamel, from her Starshine collection, and it's just a sticker about the heart is something. And again, not worried whether it fits the page totally. It's a picture of me and my kids, so anything to do with my heart and loving him to the moon and back is probably fitting, no matter what we're talking about. Even though this page is going to be talking about quite an accomplishment that we got done again this year, and it is to climb Mount Washington. Which I haven't scrapped any pictures because we climbed Mount Washington in 2015, and I did tons of pictures. But this year, the one that we did for 2016, I barely scrapped any pictures. So it's time, or I didn't scrap any pictures. So it's time to start scrapping them. And one thing I'm going to mention in this page here is that my husband and I shaved 20 minutes off the time of going up the mountain. So it took us 20 minutes less to go up the mountain than it did the first time. And Josh and my daughter and Pat, it was their first time. Josh shaved 40 minutes off, and for Pat and Katie, they went, so in 3 hours and 40 minutes, they climbed the mountain, and Dave and I climbed it in 4 hours. And I'm sure the kids would have climbed it in probably 3 hours and 15 minutes. They just kind of slowed down so that, old mom could keep up, because it's not easy. That climb is not easy. And I know it's just in a mountain, but I don't like to have them out of my sight for, too long. And I actually have a story that's going to come up soon. I'm going to scrap that page because it just popped into my head because of why I don't like them going too far ahead. So I'm just grabbing stickers, and you can see I had leftovers of labels. 2 of them are rectangles, 1 of them was a circle, and now I'm going to use some rub-ons. I used a few rub-ons, and I'm just dividing them between the 3 embellishment clusters, making sure that every embellishment overlaps the other. And my battery dies and I don't notice, so you'll have to stay tuned for some close-ups to see the finished layout. So thank you so much for watching. Bye.